All right, so it is the Anti-TBR Tag created by Nicole in her books. And the first time I saw this out on BookTube doing some research, I was immediately triggered. This is such a nerd ragey, tea-spilling, book-triggering, salty sort of tag. I mean, I go watch Sean the Book Maniac say no to Paul Beatty's The Sellout, or Rick McDonald passing on Thomas Pynchon's The Crying of Lot 49. And immediately I'm incensed. I want to jump in their comments and just write a strongly worded letter. You, sirs, are completely and utterly wrong and need to mend your ways. But then I thought, how would I answer these questions myself? And I realized, yes, these answers will probably piss off an entire swath of BookTube as well, and maybe that is the beauty of this particular tag. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. Number one, what is a popular book that everyone loves that you have no interest in reading? Well, what is popular, actually? What if I told you I have no interest in reading Shuggie Bain? I mean, look at it. It looks like an Irish little life. Just a sad, miserable story. Beautifully written, I'm sure, but sad nonetheless. No interest whatsoever. But is that popular? I mean, so it won the Booker Prize. Does that move additional units as a result? I could go over to Goodreads and check out the best of lists for 2020, usually a better indicator of overall popularity, and tell you, I have no interest in reading My Dark Vanessa, and I've never even heard of Anxious People. And then I realized this is one of those performative, cringy, not like other reader book tags where I get to announce my literary bona fides by the books that I choose to discard. I mean, this is like foodies sniffing about how only savages use pre-ground pepper, or canceling grade-fed beef, asparagus out of season, or dipping their sushi in soy sauce. I mean, the big nope to margarine, which actually hard agrees, just use butter. But regardless, it's just one of those types of tags, which, okay, fine, I can get into that. Let's keep going. Number two, a classic book or author that you have no interest in reading. How about all of them? How about any book older than 100 years old is a hard no. Dickens, Tolstoy, Woolf, nope. Joyce, Kafka, hard pass. Three Musketeers, GTFO. Scarlet Letter, negatory. Moby Dick, I don't think so. Don Quixote, not gonna happen. Listen, I figure I read about a book a week, give or take, and that means, given my advanced age, I've got maybe 2,000 books left in me. And when you consider that last year alone, the United States published over 304,000 books. Frankly, I could read a debut novel for the rest of my life and still feel like I'm missing out on a ton of books. So, you know what? I've read my share of classic books in uni. If I haven't gotten to it at this point in my life, I'm not gonna. Hard pass. Number three, an author whose books you have no interest in reading. Now, here, I could easily say Baldacci, Mary Higgins Clark, Danielle Steele. Not going to read them despite the fact they consistently top the New York Times bestseller list, but that hardly invokes any sort of literary pearl-clutching here on BookTube. So yeah, how about instead I say Terry Pratchett? I mean, I loved Good Omens that he co-wrote with Neil Gaiman, but no, I don't think I'm going to read any Terry Pratchett. I wouldn't know where to start, don't know what I'd be getting myself into if I did, and frankly, slapstick D&D and literary dad jokes, not going to happen. Also, Karl Ove Knausgaard. I mean, no. Why do I want to listen to 500 pages of rambling of some Norwegian dude talking about washing the dishes? Self-indulgent, narcissistic, boring. Not going to happen. No, this is fun. I mean, as Han Solo always liked to say, live long and prosper. Question 3.2, a problematic author that you have no intention in reading. Well, turns out all your faves are problematic. Turns out a lot of mine are too. Joseph Boyden faked his indigeneity. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, turf. I mean, these hurt. These two are responsible for some of my favorite of all time 5-star reads. I mean, less painful is Woman in the Window's A.J. Finn, aka Dan Mallory, who is at several points in his life lied about having cancer, lied about his mom dying of cancer, his brother dying by suicide, all to further his own careerist ambition, land himself a lucrative book deal, not to mention a subsequent movie deal. So Dan Mallory can go fuck himself. Number 4, an author you've read several books of and decided that their books are not for you. Well, I DNF'd A Brief History of 7 Killings, and the only reason I finished Black Leopard Red Wolf is because it was part of our book club. Otherwise, I would have ditched it dirty long ago. Marlon James, him and I simply do not seem to see eye to eye as far as books go. So, yes, sorry. Number 5, a genre you have no interest in or a genre you've tried and just simply can't get into. Listen, I like to read pretty broadly. I don't mind genre fiction at all. I mean, I like horror, thrillers, mystery, cozy or otherwise. I dig sci-fi. I'll even occasionally dip into YA and poetry. But if I'm being honest, at the bottom of the barrel for me is probably fantasy and romance. And if you were to put a fantasy novel and a romance novel in front of me and force me to pick between one, I think I'd end up picking the romance. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's because I grew up a geek and was never invited to play D&D. Maybe I'm specious against elves and orcs, but yeah, fantasy and I just do not click. Number 6, a book you've bought that you will never read. Does not compute. I don't get it. Every single book I have bought, I've read. I mean, I've DNF'd some of them, right? But I've read them. Then they end up at the thrift or the little free library down the road. But when I go to the bookstore, I browse for quite a while, and I'll buy 1, maybe 2 books. And I can guarantee you, I am going to read those books. All these books behind me have been read. Overspending on books that you will never read is not a personality trait. Number 8, a series you have no interest in reading or a series you've started and have no intention of finishing. I read 2 of these books in a trilogy, started the third, just ditched it. Wasn't for me. Tolkien. Love the movies. Didn't really dig the books. Yeah, a lot of elf songs and trees. Done. And George R.R. Martin? Nope, not even going to start. No interest in reading at all. I haven't even watched a single episode of the TV show. So, I'm not kidding about not liking fantasy. Jeff Vandermeer's The Southern Reach trilogy. Loved Annihilation. And then book 2 comes along trying to be some sort of creepy office novel. Nope, no interest in reading the third. Marilyn Robinson, Red Gilead. Yeah, I'm good. Done now. Sorry, not sorry. Number 9, a new release that you have no interest in reading. Well, that would be Obama's latest memoir that's come out. It is guaranteed to be a bestseller, I am sure, but it will be joining A Brief History of Time as the most bought, least read book of all time. It is one of those things that you casually throw on your coffee table to announce. I would have voted for him for a 3rd term if I could. And frankly, so that it is there, so that when Uncle Frank comes over for Christmas 2021, he's driven absolutely crazy. But yeah, no interest in reading that whatsoever. And I'm Canadian. Well, that was fun. I can see my subscriber numbers dropping as we speak. So let's go and spread the joy out there. I tag Justin over at Ghost Reader because frankly, it's been a minute. What have you been up to? Do this tag. John Allen Pascoe, because I appreciate the fact that he shows up consistently every month to the Discord book club talk. And Doris over at All D Books, because I love the fact that she usually can be found in the comment feed. So I hope you guys get a chance to try this tag out yourself. But otherwise, that is it for me this week. Really sort of sinking in and getting myself back into the whole booktubing thing. Hopefully these things will become a little bit more consistent. Maybe even a book review soon. Anyhow, that's it for me this week. I hope you all have a great week of reading, and we'll talk to you soon.